Wanna make love on the moon, dancing to my tunes. Is it too much? It's not too much. I wanna be on Forbes list if wishes were horses. Is it too much? It's not too much. If I want money, me, I do what dance, I got to say. If I want money, me, I'ma buy my shoulder, I'ma buy my foya, I'ma buy me. Yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. Yala, yeah, anybody, anybody, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, I wanna wake up in a Lamborghini. I want to fly for Santorini, the bonito Sicily, oh yeah, yeah. If I want money, me, I do what dance, I got to say. If I want money, me, I'ma buy my shoulder, I'ma buy my foya, I'ma buy me. Yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah,
Jesus, to serve our Father's Lord with all our strength and fear.
We'll take the second stanza. God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty height attain, to build the nation where peace and justice shall reign. Thank you. Amen. Day, I'd like us to introduce ourselves today so that the person sitting right beside you will know you and I too will know you. Alright, please take your seat somewhere down. We also have a professor of social science from the University of Port Harcourt, himself a council member, Professor Prince C. Moore. Is he here? Okay, he will join the head table when he arrives. We also have on our list a lecturer from the Rivers State College of Health, Sydney Jack. Is he here? Okay, as the names come, we will bring them up. At this point, we'll invite the DG to welcome us to day 2 of this program.
And for today, because we slept in our week because He sustained us. It is by His mercy that we are not consumed. So we appreciate him. We ascribe all the glory of yesterday to him. And today, I welcome you to this second day of this event. Yesterday, those of us that were there yesterday were just an opening ceremony of the event. And today, well, it's going to be a kind of intensive activities today, because we want to program up today and tomorrow to see how we can cover up everything today, so that those of us that from far can go back tomorrow. Please, so we try as much as possible to see how we can cover up most of the presentations and all that, because there are a lot of presentations yesterday that we stepped down for today. So please, I want to crave your indulgence to learn from our resource persons, not just coming here to learn, but also to network, meet with one another. Don't leave here without establishing new friends, knowing one another. If you have your contact card and all that, exchange it. Build relationship. That is the only way to go. Okay? Please, you cannot go far without relationship. Build relationship with people around you here, and pay attention. I draw from the words of our resource persons. We went out as far to get so many of them to this place. What we don't joke with in this institute, don't joke with our faculty, our resource persons. If you look at their profile, some of them will be connecting to us from outside the nation. So we don't joke with our resource persons, we don't joke with standards. That was why yesterday was
of this program. Every one of us here seated is very important to this institute and to this program. And so just make yourself very comfortable and let's enjoy our day. Right away, we're going to bring to the podium the fireman. This is November, December, January, February, March. It's usually a season we have a lot of outbreaks. And considering where I work, did I introduce myself? I'm a former IHG. Considering where I work, we get a lot of calls reporting one fire incident or the other, and very many times we get some response that I do not want to talk about until Oga has finished talking to us. Let me see if he will address some of the issues we have with the fire people when we have incidences. So, sir, the zonal coordinator of our service, let's have your goodwill message and have you tell us a little bit of what the firemen are doing and what they should do to ensure that our society is safe.
Good morning, everybody here seated. The chairman, the members of the ITO, all other executive officers that are here seated, my colleagues in firefighting, all other protocols, please, is highly observed. Thank you. My name is Biodun Obiseson. I'm a controller of the Federal Fire Service. I'm the zonal commanding officer of fire service in Akwa-Ibom, Cross River, and River States. I cover those three states. And it's a pleasure to see most of us that are here seated as when we are being introducing ourselves, I can discover that I have a lot of firemen here. Even though we say they are firemen, I know they must have gone through an experience of what I would describe as training. Because to be a fireman, you can't just wake up in the day, pick up paper or book you read, and then you address yourself as a fireman. It's something that requires adequate and good time training before you can address yourself as a fireman. Like I said, my name is Preparedness. I am here standing for the Consular General of the Federal Fire Service in the name of Dr. Liman Ibrahim, who is currently out of the country, also in respect of, looking for to be out to make sure that fire service is properly in position of what it ought to be. And comparing the Nigeria Fire Service with other foreign countries and to be able to meet up with the standards that is required. In the time past, we used to see fire service as one of the agencies that may not be that necessary, but that they're less important. But today, it's a turnaround history. Fire service has come to take a strong position in the area of safety of lives and properties. That is, they have a powerful role to play in the economic development of a nation. Situation whereby all what you have been putting together for years, you just wake up to discover that within the twinkle of an eye, it's raised down by unnecessary fire. I call it unnecessary because if it has not been taken, we will discover that little carelessness will take away properties that worth all the efforts of our lifetime. If it doesn't even take away our life as well. And indirectly, I want to tell you that it has a great impact in taking away. Even if one is living, you will discover that when you wake up to see that all the efforts of years have been raised down by fire, you will have a deep breath again and they will say, oh, that's what is wrong with you. Before you know it, when you get to the hospital, you say, you are hypertensive. So we see how very important it is that we take care of our lives and property, which we may lose within the little twinkle of an eye through carelessness. I want to bring it to our notice here that Nigeria has changed from what it used to be in the past, when once a president said he never knew that there is something like fire service in existence. Some of us may have heard that. I don't know whether I have somebody here who can signify to that to say yes. There was a time one of our presidents said, do we have fire service in Nigeria? It was like a question. And that really was the time when we were going through zero budgetary allocation. Will it not surprise you? But thank God for the new dispensation. Thank God for the new administration under the leadership of the President Buhari, that has really seen to it to recognize fire service as part of one of the agencies that are necessary when it comes to emergency response. I want to tell you that fire service has moved tremendously, greatly, from what it used to be in the time past to a new name. we are now fire and rescue services. Not only bearing the name, but in real practice, fire service has come to stand. I think if we have to think back about past years, you may be seeing probably a group of people in uniform, and they come out with siren, bang, 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 they say they are going to fight fire in the state. But today, it's a different thing. Federal Fire Service has come over all the 33 states of this federation. That which has never happened in time before. Federal Fire Service was only based in Lagos and Abuja. But today, under the administration of Mr. President, the new minister, and the new head of the administration of fire service, that is Dr. Liman Ibrahim, fire service has a different name. It has gotten another different name. And all over the 36 states of the Federation, go to any state, House of Federal Fire Service, they will give you the address. I think that's a plus for the present administration under the regime of the new president. I think we can give him a clap for that, because Nigeria has graciously changed in the area of protection of lives and property. When it comes to emergency, there is great hope. So many hands of disaster managers have been developed. So many. Under the coordination of National Emergency Management Agency. If you come to fire service today, what it takes to rescue, we have it during disaster time. When we go to states like this, we meet with NEMA coordinators in the state. They come around and see what we have in place in case of any emergency. So when there is an emergency, they do not leave behind the fire service on court. Even come to road accident. Today, fire service is fit. We have it, what it takes to rescue people during the accident time. The ambulance is there, well furnished, with equipment that can sustain the victims and take them to area of proper attention. That's the nearest hospital. What it takes to fight very serious fire, engines that are capable of, responding to emergencies at adequate time. They are there at the Federal Fire Service offices here in all the states of the Federation today. So the issue of forgetting about fire service for your rescue and for fighting necessary fires is over. It's now a good news from the Comptroller General of the Federal Fire Service to let you know that any point in time, anywhere, you can call any emergency number you know. Is it 112? Call them. Tell them anything about emergency. They will get in touch with the necessary agency alongside with the fire service. So the good news I brought to you this morning as a message from the Comptroller General of the Federal Fire Service, Dr. Liman Ibrahim, have what it takes to go about emergency management in Nigeria. Thank you.
There is no fuel in the vehicle. Who is going to sponsor that? Okay, sir.
Because we have a paper presentation.
Okay, I thought we were going to do that at once.
This is good way.
No, we expected to do that. Okay, okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And we want to recognize in this. Are you here? Thank you, sir. Please come to the front. Thank you. Thank you.
The director, the DG of Emergency Crisis and Disaster Management, all other stakeholders here seated, the press, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to stand on existing protocols to read the speech of my acting MD CEO, who is unavoidably absent due to an already scheduled assignment today. And many thanks to the management of Emergency Crisis and Disaster Risk Management Institute for this great initiative. I start by introducing my agency. The Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency was established by NEMSA Act 2015 to carry out the function of enforcement of technical standards and regulations, technical inspections, testing and certification of all categories of electrical installations, electricity meters, and instruments to ensure the efficient production and delivery of safe, reliable, and sustainable electricity power supply, as well as guarantee safety of lives and property in Nigerian electricity supply industry and other allied industries, which includes every agencies and department seated here. Now, the agency's mandate in NESI, which is Nigerian electricity supply industry and other allied industry, includes, but not limited to the following: 1, ensure electrical materials, equipment, and instruments used in NESI, workplaces, and other premises are the right type, right quality, right standard, and right specifications. Now, 2, the power systems and networks put in place must have been properly planned, designed, executed before use to ensure that such systems and networks are capable of delivering safe, reliable, and regular electricity supply to the consumers nationwide. Now, thirdly, electrical installations in homes, offices, commercial and industrial premises have been properly installed and executed to ensure reliability and safety of use, as well as lives and property. For safety of lives and property within the grid and off-grid networks. Electricity, energy meters, and instruments used in Nigeria are the right type, quality, class, and accuracy for proper accountability of energy produced, delivered, supplied, and utilized by the end user, which is also the customer. 2, certification of all categories of electrical installation contractor practitioners and all other technical personnel engaged in the practice of electrical installation works along the power value chain, utilization, and other premises, which simply means that every skilled person that if you feel you are skilled enough and you are qualified to carry out electrical installation in this country, you must be certified by NEMSA. We have what we call NEMSA's categorization license, which is issued to competent people after you have been tested and found qualified to work in Nigeria, the power sector. So we issue the electrical installation contractor licenses. Then we also take over the function of the statutory electrical inspection, testing, and certification of all electrical installations. It's also carried out by the former Director of Electrical Inspectorate Services of the Federal Ministry of Works there. Now, safety of electrical equipment and materials. One of the key mandates of the agency is to ensure that all electrical materials, equipment are installed in line with technical standards and regulations specified in Nigerian Electricity Supply and Installation Standard (NESIS). And to achieve this, NEMSA carry out what they call inspection, testing, and certification of power equipment stroke materials with various required test equipment, and all what I've just said falls in line with the title of the program of the institute, which is Crisis and Disaster Risk Management. That's actually what I think we do. Now, certification of categories of electrical installation personnel, which is what I've read. For any personnel to carry out electrical installations in the industry, we ensure that such personnel have the requisite skills, competence, and experience to effectively carry out electrical installations. Why do we do this? We do this to ensure that, one, the end user, the owner of the facility, if something happens, we will be the power sector will not hold you responsible, rather hold the man that is licensed responsible for doing the false impact job. And that's what the essence of the purpose of doing that. And also to ensure that only skilled people who are skilled in that area are allowed to carry out jobs in the electricity industry. Unlike what it used to be, anybody can just take an apprenticeship of 2 years or 3 years, and it comes in. Imagine somebody who never had more than a primary school and went under 2 years too late as an apprentice, decide to handle the electrification of this hotel. What are you going to get? You are not going to get more than the quality of what it has to offer. But what do? We have this category so that for such person to do such a job, there is a limit, there is a requirement that such people must meet. And we ensure that only people that make that requirement are given the license. So that if anything goes wrong, we hold them responsible. We hold them responsible for that. And if you see, by doing this, I think we have achieved a lot over the years. Though it's a young agency, which I think most of you are unaware of. Statutory electrical inspection, testing and certification of electrical installations. Now, in the last 4 years, the agency has ensured effective inspection, testing and certification of power projects across the Federation, some of which includes ensure removal of 20,000 substandard electrical materials from the networks, such as bad cross arms, tie straps, broken insulators, steel wires, conductors, bolts, feeder pillars, lights and arrestors. And for your information, this is just for year 2021. The data I gave is just for year 2021. Now you can imagine if 20,000 substandard electrical materials are removed from the network. Imagine what we are doing to make sure that you have good electricity. And yet, if I look around myself, I think we have not done enough. We have not done more, because less than 50% of Nigerians will say they have what I call efficient, safe electricity. But we're not there yet, and we'll keep trying until we get there. So, monitor and evaluated existing electrical installation networks, out of which 1,020 were certified. Meaning, for information, all the discos in Nigeria work with us. We ensure that these things, every work they do, we make sure that these things are done to standard. Though there are issues, and as the second head of regulatory safety and certification, part of what we've been doing, which has been a big challenge, is on a monthly basis we carry out what's called safety performance report of all the discos in Nigeria. And it will amaze you to know that in a month, a disco can submit over 100 reports of installations of networks that they are monitored and they are okay. We have to carry out what we call verification. We have our men who drive as much as 200 miles a day, checking each of these poles you see to see that those things are right. And in most cases, most of what we get are false. So we make sure we get those reports. We do our own verification, react back to them to clarify. And at the end of the day, you discover that in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, but we need to work sincerely to move this country forward. So those are some of the challenges. Inspected and tested new electrical installations, inspected and certified over 100 electric concrete poles manufacturers. It was also interesting to know that all these poles you see, in the last 8 years that this agency came on board, in every state we ensure that the electric concrete poles that you see that are manufactured are tested, and only the certified ones are put to use. These are some of the various things, and I don't see why. I think we are very key. We are key to this institution, and I will take this message back that not just the MD or few of us, but most likely the entire engineering agency should come into this institute so that we can assist in moving this country forward. Investigation of 122 electrical accidents nationwide. That is also part of what we do. But we are working as a team in the agency to say, okay, why must we even wait until we go to investigate accidents? So there are strategies and modalities are in place to ensure that these accidents are even prevented before they happen. And I also think that the institute, we have one or two things. By what I learned from speaker yesterday, I think I did one or two things that I'll take back that will also help us in reshaping our activities. Certification and issuance of 5,100 new certificates of electrical installation contractors. That's the record for this year. The speaker yesterday, the prof from Unicord, mentioned the issue of data, and I totally agree with him. We lack data. But I also think that you need to look outside the environment, the academic environment, to get data. And NEMSA is one of those agencies that we can give you data. NEMSA carry out monthly performance of safety ranking of utility companies, which includes the distribution companies and the TCN, to put them on check to ensure compliance with technical standard and extant law to mitigate the risk of electrical accident and electrocution, as well as electricity fire in Nigeria. In conclusion, NEMSA will continue to ensure that all electricity projects are executed in compliance with technical standards, extant regulations and specifications, while also maintaining good installation practices for reliability and durability of networks capable of delivering safe, reliable and sustainable electricity supply to Nigerians. We hope that the outcome of this annual general meeting by the Emergencies, Crisis and Disaster Risk Management Institute will use of the agency and subsequently improve the collaboration between NEMSA and the institute to better the lives of Nigerians at large. Thank you.
To your agency to get someone to fix my electrical or
Thank you very much. In my speech, I said in next Nigerian electricity supply industries and other allied industries, which also encapsulate your question. We have an inspectorate office here in build. For some buildings, we reach out to them and they will gladly come to your building, inspect it, tell you what you need to do, try. What you need to do is get the electrical installation expert that works in that building. First of all, we are going to check from the database, our website, if he's licensed to even carry out job at that level. If he is, then we'll check the building. If anything is faulty, we'll tell him to correct it. It's when he fails to correct that will now, sanction him on your behalf. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
And I've been building houses for some time. I'm just hearing what you're saying. Now, what are you going to do? Number one, do you have a website to list the list of those who are certified by you? You put it on website so that those who are informed, they can access it and say, if anybody comes to do any electrical for you, we can cross-check. It's not that we're coming to your office. Be digital. Then, all of this information that you have mentioned, I don't know, I'm sitting by my big brother here and my big brother here. I don't think they know. I'm Prof. Okay, I know you will know something because you are in. But for those of us, what we need is that let us take advantage of technology Someone wired the house for me. The day I moved there, I was lucky not to be electrocuted, but they wired something that I spent almost 15 million naira. So you people need to come out. We come to a conference. You are just telling us. Put it online and let them come up. Let people know if you need so person. We log on. Let them bring their certificate and educate people.
You know, from this program is that our awareness and sensitization campaign is good. I will take the message back to my engine. And secondly, right where you are seated, if you have internet, you can just click on www.nemsa.gov.org. Everything I have said here, www.nemsa.gov.ng.
What I'm saying is that
yes.
What I'm saying is that it is there. Their bundle of knowledge is on that. But how many times have you come on air, on radio? These are something. The people in the village, they build houses. One wiki will come and put electricity, kill somebody. We still have some about 8 that died in. If it was done by a qualified person, we go to UK, we go everywhere. Have you ever heard of electrocution when somebody is bathing and they leave their heater on? So these are the things that you need to let people know. They are, look at what in terms of NEMA. NEMA, when you go up, you found out that there are a lot of things. You need to educate us. I was just telling my big brother here that number one, all of these things that is mentioned, I'm just hearing. So we need to go digital. We need to then encourage in local languages, EBBO, FE. Let the people know, because this is what people are dying.
So I totally agree with you. But like I said, it's a young agency. We're not there yet, but we continue to do our best. And for the website, presently, please, for everybody, if you need to carry out any electrical installation, go to the website under contractors categorization. We have over 5,000 contractors in different categories, from corporate to category A to CD. Please, feel free to look at any of them. Anyone that's not expired, because the license covers for 2 years or some 1 year. If it's not expired, you are free to choose from any of those ones in your region to carry out the electrical installations. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the information.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Charles Uchin. I'm grateful. This is my first time to hear this. It's quite mind-blowing. But I want to suggest to you, sir, and your agency, if possible, get to the units that approve building plans in all the AGs. Because currently, the last one I did, the building plans pass through some processes now. CVs and seals are placed on the building plans. In fact, the one in Port Harcourt took me like 6 months to get my building plan approved because of the processes now. So your agency can walk into that section and ensure that the electrical part of every structure, it's been sealed by you people. I think we can help checkmate from that angle. So if we can close it from when the plan is being approved, we can get it right. But once we miss it there, I think it's difficult. Currently, plumbing needs to be approved. A whole lot of so it's not as then you just put a superstructure and you go on from foundation, you go up. It's a complete change. But I think if we can get it from the source, we can get it right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. To add to what he has said, we can explore first messages. It's very easy. The mama in the village has a Nokia phone. She doesn't have a smartphone to go to www. But text messages you can give to her child that is going to primary school, secondary school, read this message. We'll write it in such a way that it will be attractive to pass the information. Thank you.
And then we cannot also overemphasize the role of the traditional media. Anyone will listen to the radio even if they don't have a TV. So let's come up with a lot of campaigns on the radio, awareness campaigns, and information. It will reach the last person. Thank you so much. We won't give you another opportunity. Thank you, sir. I want to call up NEMA now. Mr. Godwin Tebiko, Zonal Coordinator, South NEMA, representing the DG of NEMA. Put your hands together for him. Okay, maybe while we're waiting for him, you can just drop that message you wanted to drop.
Yes, we have the radio programs every Tuesdays and Thursdays 92.9
Radio Nigeria.
Radio Nigeria.
Network program.
It's a network program where we have 30 minutes where our engineers come on board to talk on safety and on different things. Even this question, please, I will encourage every one of us just Tuesdays and Thursdays key into log in 4 to 4:30. 4 p.m. to 4:30. It's a 30 minutes program. You may even hear my voice one of those days. Please feel free to ask any questions. We are here to.
It's a calling program?
Yes, it's a calling program. Radio Nigeria.
Thank you so much for that information.
The DG of the Institute, other members of the High Table, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Godwin Tepiko. I'm the Zonal Coordinator of NEMA South South, and I represent my Director General, Alhaji Mustafa Abdul Ahmed, who could not be here personally because of other national engagements, and he has therefore asked me to present this good message to this conference. So now I request the indulgence of the chairman to read my DG's goodwill message. The goodwill message by the Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mustafa Abib Ahmed, at the 3rd Annual Emergency Response and Fire Chiefs Leadership Conference on the 24th to 26th November 2021 in Rio, Akwa-Ibom State. It is my singular honor and privilege to be a discussant, to panelists, and to issue out this goodwill message on presentation of NEMA Disaster Preparedness and Response Plan Scorecards at the National Emergency Response and Fire Chiefs Leadership Conference of the Institute of Emergency, Crisis and Disaster Risk Management, with the theme, when disaster strikes, it is too late to prepare. Nigeria Prepare, which aims at highlighting various forms of emergency preparedness and response in line with the global best practices. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, was established by Act 12 as amended by Act 50 of 1999. According to Section 6.1 of the Establishment Act, NEMA is saddled with the responsibility to coordinate the plans and programs for efficient and effective response to disasters at the national level, formulate policy on all activities related to disaster management in Nigeria, coordinate the activities of all voluntary, involuntary organizations engaged in emergency relief operations in any part of the Federation, among others. Disaster management has noted with concern the need to build capacity of individuals, private and corporate organizations, most especially in the area of emergency preparedness and response. I'm happy to be here with you today because this ceremony is not just appropriate, it points in the right direction of building capacity in disaster risk management, safety, community-based disaster risk management, which has been the bane to effective and efficient disaster risk management. Ladies and gentlemen, let me use this opportunity to congratulate the management of this institute for organizing this timely and appropriate conference. Bearing in mind the disasters and security challenges we face as a nation. Over the years, the world in general and Nigeria in particular has experienced other pandemics like cholera, Lassa fever, Ebola, virus disease, and the COVID-19, which is destroying lives in the country and throughout the globe in the past and present. I will urge other organizations, stakeholders, public and private individuals to embrace building careers in disaster risk management. Let me use this medium also to inform you that the doors at the National Emergency Management Agency is widely open for collaborations, consultations, and support in addressing the issues of emergency preparedness and response to help move the nation to greater heights. I'm very convinced that a lot of relearning and reskilling will take place in the course of this conference, as this institute is blessed with professionals in disaster and safety science management in Nigeria today. Finally, let me once again express my sincere appreciation to the organizers and wish the participants fruitful deliberation. Thank you all.
The chairman of this occasion, the DG, members of the head table, our dignitaries, our participants. Right about now, we're going to launch into the training for the day. And we want to bring on a certified HSE specialist to talk on first aid management, CPR, basic and advanced life support. And the person to take this is Mr. Tamino Jack.
Participants, the high table, fully respected senior fathers, I greet you all. Good morning, everyone. You're welcome. At this point, let me thank the DG for, how do I put it now, for exploring me. You could remember when I started with him, it's been a long journey. And I was a small boy then. But now I'm a big boy now, standing with big men to deliver what I've gotten a passion for. I want to appreciate you, sir, for using me to teach this session. Since yesterday I came in, I wanted to do this yesterday, but I told the DG that I wanted to hold on to see how the program is going to go. And there's a missing link when it comes to when disaster strikes. How prepared are we? And the missing link is that we in Nigeria have failed that medical services, let's say emergency medical services, has been missing. Is a missing link that we fail to have. I was looking at there's a lot of building collapse, a lot of disasters that happen, and you ask people, when you bring out someone from a fire and the person is burnt or the person has suffered a cardiac arrest in such instances, what do? We've seen a lot of people that they start rushing the people to the hospital, and when you know that at that point in time you need to do something. So this is a missing link that we are having here in Nigeria, and it's a discussion that we have to do. I'm so happy that I want to talk to firemen. And in developed countries, sir, I think it's high time the fire service gets to that point where all your men will be trained in emergency medical services. Because we see a lot of people there in developed countries, when the fire happens, when the firemen can do CPR, the firemen can do resuscitation at every point. But I want the fire service to get to that point. That's why I want to do this. It's a technical session, and I'll be around so that even those that want to get more knowledge in this will have that time to do it. My name is Jack. As they have said, I represent a new unit that is coming into Nigeria, which we call the pre-hospital care. I don't know if you have heard about paramedics before. Yes, it's coming into Nigeria, and a lot of people have not understood what it is all about. The paramedics is a new system, what we call the emergency medical technicians. These are the pre-hospital care providers. As a fire service personnel, you can be an emergency medical technician. You can be a paramedic. It doesn't stop you. It's a training that you just need to do to go through it. So that's why I want to talk to firemen here. I want to talk to other representatives of people that have to do with disaster, that you can be trained in this. So I represent that agency. I also head a department in Rivers State College of Health Science and Technology where I train paramedics, young ones. And I'm so happy for NEMA, that NEMA has used most of my students as in the South Zone to train them as volunteers. When disaster strikes, the paramedics are there. Thank you, sir. I gave him the letter, he never refused. He came to train them. And we are also going back to also retaliate. So, I want to do 3 things that I do for 5 days. I'm going to take first aid, what we call the basic life support, and what we call the advanced cardiovascular life support. And one constraint I have is that I'm not going to show it on the screen, so I'm going to talk a lot from my head, but I'm going to do it freestyle. So something I teach for 5 days, I see how I'm going to compress it for 30 minutes. Are we there? Alright, so we're going to look at first aid, what we call basic life support, and after the basic life support there's a higher one, because there are some cases that people practically are dead. I want to use it practically. For 30 minutes someone is dead, and you have done what you want to do, you have done CPR and this thing is not happening. We have what we call the advanced cardiovascular life support, which you can still use in using advanced methods to bring the person back to life. So that's what we're going to look at. And I don't know how many people are medically inclined here. The firemen, do we have any of them that have done CPRO, basic life support? Yeah, so you understand me. So I want to also plead the indulgence of those that will be thinking I will be talking a lot of medical. You know, yesterday, Professor, they were killing us with a lot of educational things. So I want to go more on medical now. So we're going to take that in bits and see how we can do some little practicals to show us what to do when disaster strikes. What are we going to do? So first aid, as simple as it is, from definition, it has to be what we call an immediate skilled care or assistance. Because first aid, we don't say we treat people, but we say it's an immediate skilled care or assistance. What we say skilled and immediate is that it's something you need to learn. Are we there? Yes. So it's something you need to learn. So when I was growing up, you know, when our mothers in the village, when you have fever, your body is hot. That one they used to tell you that it's either you use a very hot balm or hot ointment to rub from the head to the toe. You know, so that's the first aid you are giving. So we have a lot of it. If someone is convulsing too, our parents in those days will tell you need to do what? Put spoon or something into the mouth. That it doesn't need to block the teeth, because immediately the teeth blocks, you know, and with the child is going to die. So these are various crude means that we have seen, but that's not what first aid is telling us. So first aid is telling us that there are simple ways that you can do things, and before you do those simple things, it's something that you need to learn. You know, knowledge, as we have said, all our speakers have said from yesterday to today is knowledge. Most of them you are not aware of it. Most of them, this is the first time you are hearing it. So that's what first aid is. So you must learn that this is a way you have to do it. If I want to care for someone that has an increase in temperature, that this person is having a high fever, this is the standard. And the standard we're using is that anything that we're doing in Nigeria should be obtainable in the US or in the UK, in any part of the world. That is what we're calling first aid. So that is how it is. That's what we want to train ourselves with. So it doesn't differentiate that I'm doing something here and somewhere else they are doing it differently. So first aid is an immediate
exempted. Yes. All right. Thank you for that question. I think the first thing to do is first of all to carry out what we call the rescue and evacuation of that particular person out of the endangered zone to a place that is safe. And if we discover the person is not really breathing, then the first thing to do as soon as you bring out the person is to check for if the person is still breathing by checking for pulse. So if the person is not breathing at that point, I think you use the normal equipment to check the level of oxygen, then you know when to administer CPR to the person to come back to normal consciousness.
All right. Yes. Anybody has different approach to it?
Let me just say one more thing.
Yes.
Perhaps another thing to be done in that situation is quickly to ensure that the person has opportunity for first aid. For instance, if the person is wearing socks, wearing maybe clothing that will not allow first aid to penetrate the body, you quickly remove them. If after placing the person in a safe position, then the ABC.
So what I'm saying here is that the person is not responding.
Well,
yeah, the person is not responding. No movement, nothing. You know, and you have to bring him from the burning building. You brought him out to the area that is safe. Now we are saying that this area is safe.
And you have conducted CPR.
You So before you get into CPR, some of them don't even know what CPR is. Okay, I wanted to know what you wanted to do.
Well, you talk about checking for pulse, and I added removing maybe clothes or whatever to allow fresh air. That is very key. Fresh air. Then before you now maybe call for emergency rescue.
Sorry. Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. They put it all well. I think the first one I think is missing there is to check the airways and find out if it is blocked before we check if the person is breathing and then go into CPR.
Alright, I think we've all spoken well, and most times where we miss it, where I want to say this is for free. I'm even giving you all this is for free. Those that are here benefit this more. I'm giving you this for free. We are going into what we call higher level of care. Are we there? I want to use it so simple. Assuming you get home and you went there and somebody, your wife, your husband, or your relative is just lying lifeless and nothing is happening. The first impulse that will come to you is to know if the person is okay. And the first thing you need to do is to shout to know if the person is responsive. John, you call his name, isn't it? So that is it. You call his name, John. What is happening? Oh my God. And try to see how, that's the first thing first you want to do, right? And it's natural. That's the impulse that you want to come. So it doesn't happen. The next thing you want to go is that for you to verify if he is okay or not is to do what? Is to touch him. To shake him, to touch him, to hit him. These are the things you want to do. Right? So these are the basics. In checking for pulse, a lot of people, I used to teach, when I teach a lot of people, outside medical people, I call them lay person, because you are not a medical person, you are not a nurse, you are not a doctor, you are not medically inclined in any form. I don't use pulse to teach you. Is that clear? Because it's very difficult. If you talk about even doctors and nurses that check your pulse in the hospital when you are not feeling fine, most of them do mistake in getting it. So pulse is very difficult. So I don't teach pulse when I want to check. But on my own, as a professional, I want to do it because I have gone through series of practice. So what I want to teach here is a lay person. A lay person naturally will want to have those impulses. Because for you have 5 senses. Sense of touch, sense of smell, sense of, So these are things that work naturally when you do basic life support. So 2 things are there. You have called the person, which is sense of what? If the person wants to hear, isn't it? And the person does not, and you went further to have another thing, which is sense of what? Touch, by tapping the person. So if out of 5 senses, 2 senses are not working, the rest will not work. Are we there? So I'm bringing it down to our level. If out of 5 senses, the person is not hearing you, the tapping the person is not feeling anything, there's no tendency that the other ones are going to work. So you know that there's a problem.
I object to that. Why I say I object to that? The person could be so weak. Weak in the sense that, wait, let me use it. What I say, I'm not saying totally you're wrong. You are right, every person is right. What I'm saying that at a point, somebody could be so weak, he's still alive, he's not dead. But that strength, that energy to even utter a word, to even answer, might not be there. Do you know that?
Perfectly, man. Yes. Why we bring in 2 things? I was going to get this question. Exactly. No matter how it is, if the person is so weak, that's why when it comes to first aid, they are what we call signs and symptoms. Exactly. That's what we call signs and symptoms in first aid. For those that have done first aid, if I tap someone, if I tap my side here, and I tap him, and I shake him, and I look from his head to his toe, I must see movement. Exactly. I must see movement. That's the reason why you want to do, why it's important. But what I'm going to that level is that when you tap and you shake, because that's the reason what you want to do, because no matter how weak the person is, there will be sign that you will see. That's why we say signs and symptoms is very, very, very important. So I want to do that. And if you do that, it doesn't work. Because in all situations we have seen, especially those that come present in the hospitals, it is very difficult, like she has said, that when you do things and you check, some people don't even, with the environment, most times it's very difficult for you to check for a pulse. Either you want to check for a pulse for, most times those that have learned CPR, you say you want to check for the carotid pulse, you want to check for the pulse and the neck to see if there's circulation. Most times it's very difficult for you to, especially when you are faced with a situation between life and death. Your adrenaline is pumping. Because no matter how it is, no matter how qualified or how trained you are, when most firemen must have understood you, when they tell you the fire is burning, there's this adrenaline that comes out. So every tendency that there's going to be one little mistake or the other, but you tend to align yourself when you have gotten that composure to do what you want to do. Even then in the medical practice we see it. So what we want to do is that you do this, as laypersons we have said that when you do this, the next thing you need to go is that at every point in time, because you don't know when that person went into what we call arrest. Is that clear? You don't know when that person went into arrest. And for us, we have what we call clinical death and what we call biological death. Clinical death happens instantly. That is when your heart stops working. But it doesn't mean that biologically there's still some residual amount of oxygen stored in circulation somewhere. So there's still some amount of oxygen stored somewhere in circulation. And what you want to do is that you want to initiate that oxygen stored somewhere back to the heart so that the person can start what? Breathing. And it takes close to 4 to 6 minutes if you can achieve that. And the person goes totally what? Dead. Stone dead. So that is what I want to do. So immediately I have established that. Because that's why it's very difficult that in PLS, in basic life support or in CPRO, we have changed it from what we call airway breathing circulation to what we call circulation airway breathing, with the CAB sequence, which is very, very important. Because that is what we have seen, that is what we have looked at. That the issue now for adults, for people that suffer this, is no more about their what? Airway. It's no more about what? Oxygen. It's more about what? The heart. Are we there? So, for those that are interested, DJ has given me lesser time. So those that want to watch what we want to do, I'm going to drop this mic. So what we're going to see is how do we respond to it. Are we there? So I have this young man here. I have this 55-year-old man here. He has suddenly collapsed and brought him out of the scene of the incident. So what I need to do is what I call, and not especially, the first thing you need to do is what we call scene safety. You must always know that the scene is safe. For everything we have done yesterday until today, in disaster preparedness, in disaster management, we are not so selfish. Exactly, even my neighbor Oga will tell you, the first thing first is your own what? Safety. So your safety first. If you know you are not going to be safe to do whatever you want to do, please don't attempt it. So your safety first. So I'm sure that my civil is safe, then I need to take care of the person that needs what? That care. So the first thing I want to do is establish that the person is unresponsive. So by tapping, hello John, can you hear me? And the person is not responding. Is that clear? So I tap, hello John, the person is not responding. Immediately what I want to do is, in a situation of this, we say standard, we say you have to activate what we call the emergency response system. Right? So we activate what we call the emergency response system. In developed countries, we have been hearing about, I don't know why I used to say developed countries, and I pray that the GG will make sure that we have this system work. What we call the 911 or the 112, right? So even if the fire service comes, which are mostly first responders in situations like this, it's not going to be limited. If a fireman comes, the fireman can do CPR, the fireman can do first aid, the fireman can do anything until the medical team or the ambulances come to take over where the fireman or the fire people have what? Stopped. So that is what you want to call. So you want to activate the emergency medical response system so that they will activate the system while you continue what you want to do. So I do that, and I've activated, and the next thing I want to do is, in situations like this, if I have to expose the chest of the person. And also in that point, also be careful which you want to do. If it is a lady, you know, as Africans, we always guide our system. So you need to protect the person so that you don't expose as if you want to do, because you want to save the person, you want to expose the person's privacy. So privacy is also important, and you must do it in an area that is also safe for you and the person. So I suppose that in situations like this, I want to check for what I call a pulse now. I want to check for circulation. And checking for circulation is so simple for each and every one of us. You see the two sides of your neck, right? At the middle, there's an Adam's apple here. Yeah? So if you put your two fingers and you move it this way, any of them, take it to the right or you take it to the left, you apply a little pressure, you see that there's something that hits between your fingers. So that's what we call a pulse. That's why it shows that you have circulation. So if you feel that, you don't want to do what to...
All that. As an emergency responder, do you think it's well needed? Because I was thinking that after this shock, obviously we get some immediate relief. You get so. Okay, so that's just my question.
All right. So what I tell people is this: it depends on when you witness the arrest. If you witness the arrest, let's assume someone suddenly collapses here. Even if you spend 5-10 minutes in getting yourself to see how you will resuscitate this person, there's always 90% chances of the person returning back to spontaneous circulation. Science has proven that to us. That is one. Secondly, let's assume that you just came into the place and you don't know how long that individual has been lying. I made mention to you, I said, now this one you witness the arrest, there's disconnect between heart and brain. But like I said before, there's between 4 to 6 minutes of oxygen stored in circulation. Because you need that oxygen. You need that oxygen. Is that clear? That's why we removed it, that's why we changed it from ABC. Because at previous instances we see that we always dwell in oxygen.